Karl Franz is here, and he's back with a vengeance in Immortal Empires. His start has mostly remained untouched, with the exception of additional mortars added to the army, as well a handgunner unit having replaced the hand crossbow. With that out of the way, let's get started in the campaign. As soon as you start, go on the diplomacy tab and start getting any trade agreement, non-aggression pact, military alliance, whatever you can get it, and get as much money as possible from all the electro counts and the Dawi and Kislev. Why? The more you get now, the more you will benefit later on. With the Dawi, you're going to have to pay some money to get a trade agreement with them. Don't worry, this will pay off. The Dawi are extremely strong in Immortal Empires. Whereas with Kislev, try and pay for any form of agreement to start getting your relationship up with them as fast as possible. They will help you in the long run. These are the few factions that will survive the initial waves of chaos. The others, get as much money from them as possible because they're soon going to be killed. We'll get to that later. After this, start building your buildings in the capital, simply upgrading Altdorf from a village, from a hamlet to a village, and then get ready to get the research out of the way. The research, go for tide rebates. This is really important as you will get growth and public order, which is super OP. You get plus 10 growth and plus 2 control. This is going to help you along the entire campaign. With that done, let's get into the fight. It's a pretty straightforward fight. And if you follow the general formation, you should be okay. Do a lot of rear charges and start breaking units. Do not kill everything because there's no point. Just break them and get the battle out of the way as fast as possible to get minimal losses. Because in the next fight, you're gonna need as much of your troops as possible. The minor settlement is horrible. It's extremely difficult to fight and you're gonna lose a lot of units if you are not careful. In Grunberg, this is the ideal way of managing your troops. Deploy on this side of the battle map and split it up in this formation. This is important. Speed is critical to get the least amount of losses as possible. Get the Reiksguard in and block the enemy from deploying their crossbows while the rest of your units are going in through the gap. Use your swordsmen, your great swords and your harbilds to stop any of the enemy units and create the anvil. Start hammering the anvil with your Reiksguard. Sadly, there is a bug and your handgunners are not going to be very effective here. Use Karl to increase the morale of your army and the mortars to reduce the morale of the enemy army. If you do this, the enemy should break quite fast and it's a GG. Next, fix the buildings in this settlement and make sure that you have everything else sorted. Your research, your trade, and your upgrades to Altdorf. Recruit 2 archer units for Karl. Now, if you do not have the DLC for this, which is the Hunts Marshal DLC, Nakai and the Hunts Marshal DLC, make sure you recruit some other units. But archers are extremely important for this strategy to work. Next turn is very simple. Just march over here, as I show you in the campaign map, and recruit more units and get ready to attack Uberstrike. This is a good time to know that troop recruitment has been slowed down for Immortal Empires compared to older games, allowing you only to recruit 2 units. This can be increased later on with buildings and research, but it's good to note. Uberstrike, you get a simple battle ahead of you. You just have to have 4 battle groups and you deploy them in this position. First group is 1 single swordsman unit and you're going to use this to capture a flag down here as I show you on the map. This is important for extra momentum buff to your troops, giving you more damage and more speed. The Reiksguard are going to go the other side, capture the northernmost flag, and this will destroy the tower that would otherwise destroy most of your missile units, which is very, very important. Following this, just charge in with the 2 main battle groups and kill as many of the enemy units as possible, supporting from the flanks with the Reiksguard and the battle swordsmen from this side, and capture the locations as you go along. You should be able to kill them relatively easily. It's not a difficult fight. If you do it right, you might even not get more than 10 losses. The goal is to kill the enemy fast, because if you don't kill them fast, they will build towers and those towers will damage your army, and you need your army to be in good enough shape that by the end of the end turn you are fully replenished. Finish the battle and recruit more units. At this point, start building anything that comes up in Altdorf. I highly recommend that you go for the upgraded barracks. Anything else, it's up to you. It won't make that much of a difference in the long term. You need to make your own decisions in this regard. However, keep recruiting troops in Karl Franz's army and get ready for Eilhart. This is a very similar battle to Grunberg, so follow the same battle formation earlier. Your archers should be able to take down the towers and give you an easier time, and you should be golden. Recruit again, and remember the upgrades. Now, this is the time for cheese. This is where you start going, and you should be moving right outside the borders of Helmgard. Recruit 2 more troops and stay there. There should be an army within the city and an army outside. The army outside should have no units in them. You're sieging the city and getting ready. You're not going to do anything else with Karl Franz this turn. Do not fight. You need the experience, and you're going to get a lot of experience out of this. Now, hire a new lord in Aldorf and recruit 2 more units. There should be a rebellion. This can be an Empire Secessionist rebellion. You can have beastmen, you can have vampires. The easiest one is vampires, but there are many different ones. And it's quite a nice flavor they added to the campaign. Recruit 2 crossbows on this army. You're going to keep recruiting crossbows anytime you get a chance. If they attack the rebellion attacks if the rebellion attacks the city, just auto-resolve that battle or fight it if you so wish. Should be an easy fight. Now, end your turn. Now, during the end turn, you're going to have a special thing happening. The enemy army is going to attack you, but not the one inside the city. The one outside the city is going to charge in at you. This is where you fight the battle manually. You can win it. It's a Pyrrhic victory. You lose everything and there won't be a city anymore. But, and this is the big but, that will mean that you have no army left. However, what you want to do is cheese it for experience. Deploy in a formation like this, charge as fast as possible with your Reichsguard and Karl, who should be on a horse by now, and get into the enemy lord. Start dealing as much damage. While you're doing this, move your archers and handgunners into position, and once they're into position, move your cavalry out of the way so the lord gets gunned down and broken before reinforcements come in. End the battle here. Congratulations, you've earned around 7,000 experience points. You can do this as many times as you want, turn after turn. It's farming experience from the secessionists, and you can get Karl Franz to a really good, decent level really early on in the campaign. This is amazing because it will allow him to survive much longer in the very tough battles to come. Your main army needs to keep fighting. If you kill the enemy lord, what you do is run outside and hide in ambush stance. If you hide in ambush stance just next to Obersreich, the enemy will come and attack you, and if they do, they'll get ambushed, and Wadila, you get more experience. They will run back. If you don't kill that many of them, they'll keep recruiting new troops. This is a really easy way for you to get as much experience as you want. Some things to be wary about. Grom the Punch might come. You will see him around turn 10 to start attacking the settlements. You see him taking out Paravon and possibly coming to Helmgard to fight. You can fight alongside him, or you can just let him die, or you can let him fight and then kill him. He'll be a much easier, softer target than the secessionists who are really holed up well in there. Usually at this point he might also have a wall already. He's very, very strong in the early game, as you all know, and he's going to do a lot of damage. So keep that in mind. That said, now that you've done this, it's really easy. You do this a couple of times and you are in your early game going into your mid game. Hope you found this campaign useful, this guide useful. If you did, please do subscribe to the channel. Please do hang out. I have more guides on the way. I currently have a Malekith guide, a Cetra guide, and a Ikit Claw guide being developed. So hey, if you want to influence what the next guide is, write down below which one would you be your favorite, and hope you have a good time. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.